I love reading. I love reading romance, fantasy, mystery, thrillers, all kinds of different genres. But I haven't been able to finish a single book in the month of October. And that's because I'm currently in a reading slump. Hello everybody, my name is Sandra and welcome to today's video. My goal for today's video is to finally get out of this reading slump that I've been in for the entire month of October. I want to be able to finish at least one complete book this month, especially because I want to hit my reading goal for this year, which is to read 50 books. Actually started so many books. Wait, let me see how many books I've started. So I started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. I've started 6 books, but never finished any of them. That's crazy. I don't want to say that I've DNF'd all of these books because I know that I want to finish reading them eventually. I just don't want to finish reading them now. So I kind of soft DNF'd all of these books. I do, however, have this whole pile of books as my options to get me out of this reading slump. The first book that I have is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This one I got when I went to the book influencer event at one of the romance bookstores. This one was recommended to me. It's a romantasy, so it's a fantasy book, but it also has romance in it. The next book that I have is Nightbane. I really liked the first book. This is the second book in the Lightlark series. The next one is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. It's like a mystery thriller, and those are really fast-paced. And I think fast-paced books are really good to read when you're in a reading slump. The next one I have is Scythe. This one is also kind of like dystopian fantasy, so I'm hoping this one can get me out of that reading slump because it's a genre that I really like. Then I have The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the final book in the Folk of the Air series, and I'm hoping that finishing a series gets me motivated to read more because I would feel accomplished. I also decided to include The Dead Romantics. This one is part of my fall TBR, so I want to be able to read it this fall. And the concept of this book sounds really interesting to me. The love interest is a ghost, so I'm interested to see how that would work. I'm also including Misery by Stephen King. This one was really interesting, and it's such an interesting story. It's about this author that gets held captive by his #1 fan. And then I also have Iron Flame. I remember Fourth Wing being really fast-paced, and it was so action-packed. The last book that I have to get me out of the reading slump is Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is my most anticipated read of this year. I love Hannah Grace's books. I love the Maple Hills series, and this is the 3rd book in that series. Alright, so those are all the books that I'm going to choose from. Now I'm going to choose the one that I want to start with. I don't think I'm going to start with Iron Flame just because I feel like it's way too long. I'm also not going to start with Daydream. I'm going to hold off on this one for now. Misery, I want to continue, but I already started it and I just don't want to continue it. Ugh. Same thing with The Dead Romantics. I don't feel like reading that one right now. So I've narrowed it down to these: Nightbane, One of Us is Lying, Fear the Flame, Queen of Nothing, and Scythe. Kind of want to start with the short book, so I think I'm going to start with One of Us is Lying. It's 360 pages, but I feel like this is going to be super fast paced because it's YA, so usually when I read YA books, they're a little bit faster to read. So I'll start this one and then give you a little update when I read at least 20 pages. The first line, oh my gosh, okay, it sounds promising. The first like paragraph of this book has me intrigued. This has potential to get me out of this reading slump. I'm on my way to work actually, but I wanted to update you on what I've read so far. I feel like I have been leaving these gaps in between reading sessions because of this reading slump. So what I decided to do is listen to the audiobook version on my way to work because I have like a 20-minute drive. That way I can fill in these gaps and get further in the book. But the book so far is really interesting. I love the mystery, but I feel like there's a bunch of characters that I have to keep track of, and it's a lot. You know, I just want an easy read. but because this book is so interesting, I want to keep reading it. But it's just a lot of characters to keep track of, and a lot of things are going on at the same time. So I don't know. I already wanted to stop reading it because it was too much information, but I also am really into the mystery. I'm gonna just listen to the audiobook and see how it goes, but I do like the beginning so far. It's just a lot to keep track of.
Chapter 5. Bronwyn. Friday, September 28th, 6:45 p.m.
It's like 3 days later, but I finally finished One of Us is Lying. The middle of this book was so good. It was so fast paced. I kept losing track of who was who, but that was okay because the story and the plot were so good. But then the second half of the book kind of slowed down for me, and then the ending, I was super bummed that it didn't end the way I thought it was gonna end. I expected a totally different ending, and I actually did not like the ending or the way it ended. I feel like it could have ended a totally different way, but I can see why this book turned out that way because it's considered a YA book, so it makes sense. But I just, the rest of it was really great. Just the ending threw me off a little bit. I finally finished a complete book in the month of October. I think completing a book really motivated me to start reading again, so I think I'm gonna pick up a different book right now. I'm back. And I'm so excited because this book right here, I think, got me out of my reading slump. I do think that listening to the audiobook as I was reading really helped with wanting to keep going, because if I just read it without the audiobook, I know that I would have put it down and never picked it up again. So I think the audiobook really helped motivate me to keep reading and keep going. I like reading and listening at the same time, and I think that really helped me get through that reading slump. So for the next book that I'm going to read, I'm also going to listen to the audiobook as I'm reading, and it just makes it so much easier to picture inside my head, so it feels like I'm watching a movie in my head. So the next book I'm going to read is going to be Nightbane. This is the second book in the Lightlark series. The first book is Lightlark, and I read it almost a year ago. I read it in January of this year, but I think I remember most of what happened. Hopefully I remember most of what happened, but I'm going to start it either way. I'm going to listen to the audiobook at the same time, and I'll give you a little update after. Look at the cute map. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is so cute. And then the map inside. Oh my gosh, this is such a pretty book. It's so nice. All right, I'm gonna get my headphones and then start reading. Okay. Oh, let me pause it. All right. So I read the first chapter. I still can't get over this cover art. It's so pretty. But yeah, I read the first chapter and I have no idea what is going on. I totally forgot everything that happened at the end, which is crazy because I remember the ending of the first book had this huge plot twist and it was crazy. but I don't remember it. So I think I'm gonna have to reread the first book, or at least reread the ending of the first book before I continue reading this. So I'm actually gonna end the video right here. I am so excited that I was able to get out of this reading slump, and even though I am not gonna finish the last book I picked up, which is Nightbane by Alex Astor, I know that I do want to keep reading, and I'm so motivated to keep reading now, which has not happened in a while. I really do think that listening to the audiobook as I was reading really did help me. That's how I used to read before, especially when I first started my reading journey. So I think just going back to the basics, you know, really helped me out. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!